I'm delighted to have such a full group with me tonight. We've had a marvelous day. Candidates have been absolutely outstanding, and I'm sure that'll be continuing as we move along this evening. So we'll start with Matt Bernanke. Are you here this evening?
I am here. Yes, I am. Thank
Wonderful. You. And you could have the first opening then, 2 minutes.
All right. Thank you. My name is Matthew Bernanke. Been in LaPorte most of my life, other than a little over a year when I was in Florida working for a local contractor, Woodruff & Sons. I graduated in 2000 after high school, went to Ball State and got a degree in business. Came back. We had a local family business here, Bernanke Greenhouses, and I chose to stay in project management, so I worked in underground utilities, and that's what I do today is project management. I sat on the council. I was first elected in 2008 and then again in 2012. I've sat on the Plan Commission, Economic Development, Solid Waste, and you know, I enjoy it. I like working for the people, and I think I'm a pretty fiscally responsible person with the tax dollars. So I like doing my research, as the other members could tell you, and digging in my heels deep, and just you know, being responsible with what the taxpayers put us in charge for. I was there in 08 through 10 where we had the horrible tax mess, and I worked with the assessor, the auditor, the treasurer, and the other council members hand in hand to help us get out of that. And we lined things up where the county was fiscally in a good place, and we managed it through, you know, the recession, the tax mess, and you know, I think that with what's happening in 2020, we're probably gonna be stuck in that situation again here shortly with the taxes not being collected or not having the taxes we need. So that being said, I just want to be put back to work by the voters and do my due diligence to keep us fiscally able.
Thank you very much. Earl, would you please continue then with your opening? Earl Cunningham.
My name is Earl Cunningham. I was born and raised in Hannah. Spent some time in Union Mills. Later moved to Michigan City. Actually, I went to LaPorte for about 10 years, then to Michigan City. I've lived out in the Waterford area for the last 33 years. Same address, same phone number. Background, I was a business law teacher and business math teacher at Michigan City High School, which at that time was Elston and Rogers, now combined to Michigan City High School. And I did a lot of coaching, was very involved in the coaching area. Taught driver's ed for most of the time in LaPorte instead of Michigan City. And I think I have a great diversity as far as, because I was a teacher, I had a lot of different summer jobs. So I've sold real estate, I've sold insurance. I worked at Alice Chalmers one summer. I've worked on a farm. I've worked, farming was my first job actually, and then I got a great job with Bill Garner, that's Terry's father, and down in the Hannah area, and learned a lot working with him. And just because I had the summers off, it was a tremendous asset to be able to experiment with some different jobs. Actually worked on the back of a garbage truck one entire summer because it was 50 cents more than Alice Chalmers, and 50 cents was a big deal in those days. Unlike Matt, I spent 8 years on the council previously during a very tough economic period. And I'd like to return because I anticipate the same thing is coming up here. Again, as Matt said, I'm a very strong fiscal conservative. Waste in government drives me crazy, and abuse of money, anybody spending money that they shouldn't be spending drives me nuts as well. So I'm putting myself back out there. I'd like for the constituents to know that I will represent independents, libertarians, Republicans, and Democrats. Thank you.
Thank you, Earl. Okay. And next is Mike Moldenauer, running Democrat.
Hi, I would first like to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity. I'm Mike Moldenauer, and please allow me to tell you a little bit about myself. My wife Sue and I have 4 adult children and 7 grandchildren. We live here in LaPorte, and we also have 2 dogs. I need to mention that, and they're both spoiled, and if you hear one barking, why please, I apologize. For the past 3.5 years, I've been serving on the county council. This year, I was elected by my fellow councilmen to serve as vice president on the council. My prior career, of course, has been in law enforcement almost my entire life, born and raised on a farm. But when I had the opportunity, when I was 23 years old, I got on the sheriff's department and moved up the ranks from patrol deputy to detective sergeant and then captain. And then eventually I was elected sheriff and served 2 terms for a total of 37 years on the sheriff's department. It's been an honor right now, though, to serve on the council as well as the sheriff's department. I'm the representative to our county's redevelopment commission, rail planning committee, solid waste district board, liaison to the county assessor, and liaison to the health department. Together, we, the council, have worked as a team in a bipartisan manner. We have accomplished much, and to name just a few, the South Shore double tracking, the Michigan City County Courthouse renovation, enhancing rail service at the Kingsbury Industrial Park, funding additional personnel for the EMS for needed base to be eventually located over on the east side of our county in the Rolling Prairie area, and encouraging and enhancing new factories, creating more jobs, more good paying jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Connie Grammarosa, also Republican.
My name is Connie Grammarosa, and I'm a candidate for county council. First, I'd like to say I'm sincerely grateful for all the support that I received in the primary election. And I believe that due to the global events, this is going to be a long-term consequence on our finances in the county. The next year is going to be very challenging. I think that the new council is going to be faced with major shortfalls, delayed revenue of income, or perhaps both. And I promise to help, to represent the people of the county, the taxpayer, always put the taxpayer first and not pander to like personal agendas. As a commissioner, I made myself available to all. I served on double tracking, drainage board. I've always worked with all kinds of different departments, making sure that we got things through and done. And one of my biggest accomplishments that I was very proud of is the EMS building. When we were working on the EMS building in LaPorte, I made sure that we kept it out of the residential area and that we kept it pretty much where it was. I promised to be fiscally responsible with the tax dollars as I was when I was a commissioner. I have extensive business experience. I'm a real estate investor. I owned Bella's Barn. I've had 3 restaurants in my lifetime, sold them all at a profit, and I ran my husband's construction company. And I believe that having all that great experience, especially right now when they're building this courthouse, I just recently heard where change orders, and with those change orders, they're not talking about the money that comes involved with the change orders. And I'll promise I'll be transparent.
Thank you, Connie. Okay, we're going to follow now with Jeff Santana.
I'm Jeff Santana. I'm running for LaPorte County Council at Large. I have been on the council now. I'm finishing off my 8th year, which is 2 terms. I'm 58 years old. I was born in Michigan City and have lived my whole life in LaPorte County. I retired after 28 and a half years from the Michigan City Fire Department. And right at that time, excuse me, right at that time, there was the position for the at-large positions to come available. And so, again, for a way for me, I should say, to continue to serve and give back to our community, to our county, this was like a true fit. I've always had aspirations to get into government in some form or another, and lo and behold, I went out, I put my name out there, and I was elected, and have been elected since in 2 terms. I have been president of the county council for 1 year. I was elected vice president for 2, again, by our colleagues. I make myself, you guys, easily accessible. I put my name out there. I put my numbers out there. And what I thrive on, honest to goodness, not only dealing with the fiscal end of what our job is, but it is truly helping the people. And when I say that, by putting my name out and being accessible, I get phone calls, I get emails, and I jump on the occasion to get out. And being retired, of course, I have the availability to do so. I get out, I go examine, I look at the situation, and then I'm able to mediate it, and by virtue of the departments that would be overseeing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Kessler, Republican, is next. Could you give us your opening statement, please, Brett?
Yes, thank you. And thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's event. As you said, my name's Brett Kessler, 43, live on the west side of LaPorte with my wife and my 3 boys. We farm in LaPorte County, been here my whole life. We've got farms northeast of Rolling Prairie and down through LaPorte. So I got involved in this run, seeing a need for some new ideas on the county council and in county government. The council has worked very hard this year, particularly with the upcoming budget, looking forward to be proactive, and we look forward to continuing to do that. With me being new to the scene, I don't have a lot of experience in politics, but I have been involved in Indiana Farm Bureau. I've been involved with Extension here in LaPorte and also with FFA at New Prairie. I've served on several national livestock boards, and I've also been president of PCARET, which is Purdue Council on Ag Research, Extension, and Teaching. And that experience really opened my eyes to politics. We work as an advocacy group, either in Indianapolis, here with our county council and commissioners, or in Washington, D.C. I've been fortunate enough over the last few years to have Congresswoman Walorski and Senator Young to the farm, and they've opened my eyes to things that I can help our fellow tax constituents with here in the county of LaPorte. So with that, Brett Kessler, thank you for your support in the primary, and look forward to your support here in November. Thank you.
And thank you for your opening. Okay, now moving to the first question. The next one, and I'm going to start the questionings with Mike Molnauer. If you're elected, what specifically do you as an individual bring to the table that you feel would improve county government and benefit people? What do you offer specifically?
Well, I think that's a pretty, thank you for that question. Experience, and I think experience matters the most. As I mentioned, I was sheriff for 8 years, and I was responsible for an $8 million budget. You have to really be physically responsible when you've got that, and especially it was mentioned earlier about the hard times when I was sheriff, 2008 through 2010 with the tech situation. So I think being bipartisan, fair, and thinking on your feet, thinking things out, being reasonable, and as I mentioned earlier, why I have the council right now, I really feel that has done a tremendous job at moving this county forward. And I think that with my reelection, I would be, continue to do a good job. Thank you for that question.
Well, thank you for the answer. Okay, anyone else want to answer that? All right, moving along then. Earl, you're next. What do you envision the county will look like when the improved South Shoreline expansion is complete?
I think that, first of all, it will be a tremendous asset to the county from the standpoint that it will bring in some younger, higher income people that can now get into Chicago within an hour, hour and 5 minutes. And because the prices of homes are so much less here than they are in the Chicagoland area, I think we'll see an influx of those people, and they bring their income back here to spend it. I think that will help us tremendously. And the improvements that we'll see in downtown Michigan City, I think will be as well. There'll be benefits for the entire county. I think there'll be some new employment come in because we can move things faster. It's going to help South Shore Freight as well. It makes it more possible to move goods in and out because a double track covers both ends, freight and I just think it'll be an improved community. We've been about 40, 50 years with 110,000 population. It's time for us to grow a little bit.
All right. Matthew?
Yep.
We live in LaPorte County for the outdoor activities and to make a living. How will you balance environmental consideration and development of the county, like our clean water, clean air, green spaces?
That would be with economic development. And we if you look back at LaPorte's history, the city of LaPorte at least, with what Al's Chalmers used to be, I mean, it left a horrific stain on downtown, and now we have a hospital. And I don't know, Tom Dermody has been doing a great job with cleanups and making the city look great. Michigan City has great things happening with the lake there, with the double track that you were just speaking about. So to me, we have to be focused on clean jobs, clean energy, solar, and if we have the higher paying jobs, everything else will come. The jobs, the careers, the people want to stay. And we just need to utilize, and we need LaPorte's lush with parks, so we just need to keep the natural beauty of LaPorte going, the whole county.
Okay, thank you. Going to Connie, what would you like to see happen to the NIPSCO property when the power plant is finally removed?
Okay, I believe that there's been a lot of talk about that piece of property already, and what they're looking to do is, I've heard economic development already talking about it here in Michigan City, and turning that property, because it's so close to the lake, turning it into housing. And here up in Michigan City, and I think I can combine a lot of this, when we look at that double track, bringing people in, the funding is already there. Once they can push it through, we can get more housing in here. I think it's going to be a splendid thing. But our town, like a lot of other we're unusual from a lot of other towns. When we've had these situations, when you look at these other towns, they've already had like the housing there. They had Airbnb there. They had bread and breakfasts there. In order to have someone get off that train, there has to be an attraction real close. And I would really like to see economic development bring in businesses to attract people when they get off that train.
Thank you. Anyone else want that question about the NIPSCO property? Well, one of you might get it later. We'll see. Okay. Jeff Santana, what is your opinion on how to keep Michigan City affordable for homeowners and renters?
Well, there again, we have, the diversity in the county, not only Michigan City, but I guess even in the city of LaPorte. We have such a diversity of different property owners. And so there's, give me the question again as far as,
Sure, I'd be glad to. What's your opinion on how to keep Michigan City affordable for homeowners and renters?
well, I guess I have been plagued in the past here a little bit since the city of LaPorte is really looking to bring in some housing. I think we need to be careful with that. I think we've gotten bitten a few times. Obviously, with the new jobs coming in, yes, we need to have availability of housing for renters and for owners. But it's a tough thing to look at as far as what type of people and I just say it like that we are going to attract and draw. But we do need to have housing for those that work here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, anyone else want to discuss that? And Brett,
Yes.
let's see. What role do you see green infrastructure, interconnected parks, nature preserves, bike paths playing in economic development?
Well, I think those items that you just mentioned, the walkways, the green spaces, are key, particularly for attracting the younger demographic in today's society. With having those laid out, it's much easier to attract people to our area. We're very fortunate with all the lakes we have, the bike and pathways that we already have, and that are also in construction right now. People want to be able to bike in a safe area. People want to be able to walk and jog. We've got a lot of diversity, whether it's up towards the lakeshore or down through the southern part of the county. Each holds their own beauty. If you want flat and open, you can head down south of 6 and have flat and open. If you want hilly and terrainy, you go up northeast to Hudson Township or Galena Township. So it's very important in being able to have those available to the new residents or even the residents that are here. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And let's see, I'll go back up to Matt there, Matt Bernacki. The population of LaPorte has become more racially and ethnically diverse in recent years. How do you view this development, and how would you work to make it a positive development?
Well, I think it's great to, in any community when you have, different races and different backgrounds. I think as a collective, it makes your community, more unique. And I mean, you can see it, throughout LaPorte County already with, downtown with the Arts District and things like that, where you have more culture and people are trying to, show what they can do. So, LaPorte has a lot to offer with the lakes. It has a lot to offer with, the development that's happening in downtown LaPorte. And I think it just brings people here naturally. I mean, we've had some people, just randomly come, but for the most part, everyone's come to LaPorte for a reason. And it's usually, a job or they just want to come somewhere where it's clean and it's nice and, you're welcome. I think that's the draw to LaPorte.
Could I add something a little bit?
You certainly may. You have a whole minute.
I just want to, with the last two questions, really, I just want to put a little plug into I think our LaPorte County visitors the Visitors Bureau in LaPorte County does one tremendous job on promoting all of the activities here in LaPorte County. I know this year it's been really difficult without having any boat show up there, boat race and things like that, but they really do one fantastic job of bringing the tourists in. Of course, you come and you visit, you may end up buying a home here. And another thing that I've heard and seen in LaPorte, and I'm probably in Michigan City too, especially Michigan City with Lake Michigan, is people are buying some of these homes and they're making them into Airbnbs. I know there's been 2 in my neighborhood just recently. So that all, that's great, bringing money into the county for tourists. Thank you.
Let's see, I'll move on to Jeff Santana. Other than its amazing citizens, what do you think is LaPorte County's best asset?
Well, you know what, I've spoke on this before, and I guess, you know, when we look at the different areas, and again, obviously everybody knows, being the second largest in the state of Indiana, the different land, again, the agriculture that we have, the Lake Michigan in our county, basically, I mean, until you get into the water, but you know what I mean. To the south, some of the rural areas that are, you know, still just, to me, you know, it's good old fashioned kind of, home life and rearing of children, and I love that. I love that history. I'm one like that, and so I guess you know that there are
10
things.
seconds.
Yeah, there are things here for people to come to, and there are reasons to live here in LaPorte County.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Is there
Could
any?
I, yeah. Could I say,
Mike?
could I respond to that too, just shortly?
Certainly, certainly.
Okay, I think.
Now, this will be your number 3.
Oh, no, I think one of the biggest assets is we have a safe community. Great law enforcement, great fire protection. It's just a safe community. I don't know how many people have said that to me over the years. And we're really proud of our personnel, our first responders. So I think that's probably another one of our greatest assets. Thank you.
Well, it's fun naming good assets. Yeah. Anyone else have some ideas? I think we're doing a great job selling the county here.
You know, I'd like to add in a little bit on that.
Certainly, Connie.
You know, economic development has done a fabulous job. I mean, I don't think that they're funded enough, and we really got to get people out there where we can recruit the businesses in, because the lake is such a great asset. When you look at New Buffalo, you look at what's happening all the way going up the lake into Michigan, they have done such a great job at selling their little towns. And Michigan City, there's no reason why we should be bypassed and then people going up into that area where it's a longer drive for the people from Chicago. We really need to find a way to fund businesses to come into LaPorte. You know, get these small little businesses into Michigan City. Start seeing where they're going to want to live here permanently, not just come here for the 3 months of summer. And so I really think that we really have to work on that.
Certainly getting some good ideas here. Anybody want to add to the assets of our county? Okay, I'll put it to one side. I may be retrieving it in a minute, but we'll see. All right. Going to, okay, Earl, what will you do to provide Wi-Fi for all of LaPorte County?
Well, I think there's a committee that the commissioners have already set up, and they're working on that very strongly right now. But it's a major factor when you consider right now, particularly with the schools, some of them being closed, and some people not having access in their homes to Wi-Fi. I know there are a lot of people. I live very close to the Cool Spring Township library, and there are a lot of people there in their cars even after they're closed, because that's a Wi-Fi hotspot. There are children in the library all the time on their iPads because they don't have access at home. So when you think about, as I think Jeff said before, we're the second largest county, and it's a long way from the Heston area all the way down to La Crosse. And we have some very diversified county areas that don't have Wi-Fi. And if we don't correct it, it becomes a liability for people that live in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here tonight that's on that committee? Brett?
Yes.
I have the next question for you. How could you help ensure that the NIPSCO coal ash ponds are closed in a safe and clean manner?
Well, I think as being part of the county council, you'd work very closely with IDEM and go through all the procedures. I know there's talk when they're wanting to do it this summer when it was so hot they didn't want to add pollutants to the air with the affecting the air quality. We don't want to like Matthew said earlier, we don't want to mess like we had with the Alstomers and some of these other factory sites that we used to have. IDEM has procedures just like they do for any other environmental risk. And I think if you go through that and work with Purdue Extension through that's an asset that's never used enough. Reach out to the professors that deal with it and make sure it's done in a safe and efficient manner.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak about that? Connie, when the vibrant community process is complete, will you endorse, provide resources, and cooperate to meet the goals of the action agendas?
Absolutely. I believe that that's really a good organization that's doing a lot for LaPorte County. And that's one of the organizations that we really need to we need to get more going, and we need to fund them so that this way we can get that going across the entire county, and we can really get into areas. Like just earlier, I heard you talking about the Wi-Fi. I had a farm up in Rolling Prairie for 7 years now, and we still don't have Wi-Fi. Barely got cable TV. So when you start bringing in organizations like that that are going to enhance the county, we need to get that throughout the entire county. We need to go from the east all the way down to the west, north and south. And it's really important that we fund those types of projects.
Thank you. Anyone else want to talk about vibrant communities? Okay, Jeff? In light of COVID-19, what would you suggest or try to enact to cope with another possible pandemic in the future that may affect parts or all of our county?
Well, this has been, again, I guess a good lesson, nothing good about it, I should say, but it's been a lesson, and it is something that I believe with the current leaders that we have in the county, we are taking a proactive approach to this to say we're not going to get caught like we did this last time. But saying that, what will be the next thing that we have to prepare for? We're not sure. But the game plan, I believe now is to say that we are ready to enact. We have, funds available, which we do, to take on anything that comes to us, and in a very quick, timely fashion. I kind of believe with this situation, we were a little bit in delay, but we did the best we could, because who in the heck knew that this was going to happen? Thank you.
And going back to Earl, you probably have many things that you're proud of that you've been able to accomplish while you've been sitting in the council. But what's one thing that you can focus on that you still haven't been able to achieve that you're just really eager to do next year?
Well, that's a tough question, because I always tell people that when you're on a council, there are 7 people and you have to have 4 votes to accomplish anything. So no individual council member can take credit for anything. You have to work with others. And Matt and I were on there when it was very, very difficult financially, and I think we're going to go through that same thing again. There's always a shortage of money. I don't care what county you're in. There are more people asking for money than there is money, and it's just a matter of life. And it's going to be that more difficult this year, because we already know that blue chip casino income is partially down, and they weren't even open for a while. And their monthly income is still down. That's going to be hit. Some people are behind their taxes. I have a big fear right now about people being evicted from their home, and I think that's going to present a homeless issue that the county's going to have to worry about. And it's going to be some cost factors there as well.
Okay, thank you. Um, Matt, people may not know this, so I want you to explain to viewers, what are the qualifications for your elected position, and what experience do you have that fits those qualifications?
Well, to be technical, I think the only qualifications are you have to be of age and be a LaPorte County resident. But what I would say is you have to be fiscally responsible, number one. You have to be willing to work with other elected officials, and you have to be able to listen, because I've seen too many times where people are strong-willed or already have their ideas in mind, and they just don't listen to reason. And I think we're seeing a lot of that right now in the national politics. So I always prided myself with working with Republicans, Democrats, Libertarian, it doesn't matter. If you have an idea, come to me and I want to hear it out. Same thing with the elected officials. I would go to every department. As a councilman, you have your liaisons over certain departments, but I was told many times I was stepping on toes because I was going in other people's departments. And I said, I just want to know what's really going on. So just being involved and taking true understanding of what's going on in the county government.
Brett, your final question. Speaking of listening, how are you certain that you're getting feedback, accurate feedback from your constituents? What do you do to make certain that you're questioning, or, as I said, getting the right kind of feedback from your constituents?
Okay. Well, on that one, it's pretty easy to me. You check with your department heads if there's an issue in a certain office or whatnot, and then fact check. If somebody brings a claim to you, you don't just act on it without researching it and confirming whether that claim is true or false. You don't want to be accusing somebody of wrongdoing if there is no wrongdoing, or maybe the constituent just doesn't know what the procedures are and how they're set up, and you can lead them in the right direction once you find out what their question is. So, there's several ways to make sure that you're going down the right path, but that's my opinion.
Well, we're ready for closing already, and it certainly went fast, I think. Brett, we're going to start the opposite way that we started with the openings. So you'll be first with the closing.
All righty. Well, I hope you, as a voter, have found this program informative, and you get to meet some of these candidates that are running for LaPorte County Council. I look forward to your support in November. I've always been a hard, dedicated worker, whether it's through Ag Association, PCARET, or any of the other boards that I've sat on throughout my life. I've always felt that I've taken the time to research issues and be fiscally conservative with your tax dollar. Being a farmer, we know all too well what a tax bill looks like, and we need to take care of where those taxes go. So in closing, I thank you for your support and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Jeff Santana.
Okay, well, again, thank you so much, for you guys doing this. I want to try to be brief, obviously. I want everyone to know that I believe that I am bipartisan. I can work with anybody. Another statement that I've made throughout is my philosophy on the county council as far as what is needed. What are we in need? You know, what we have to focus on is needs, not wants, wishes, hopes, or desires. And so I look at that, and that is very budget conscious of being. I think I have a good rapport with all the citizens, and I want to continue that. I make myself accessible. When I am on the council, I ask questions. I invite everyone to call me, to email me, to give me your opinion. You know, another thing that I have is I have great family support. Just in the one with my wife, who attends all the meetings with me. It is wonderful. So I've got 4 eyes and ears. I'm a common guy for a common council, and I'm easily accessible. I appreciate your vote on November 3rd, and I am not indebted to anybody, and so I want to be your voice and represent you guys as I have. Thank you.
And thank you, Jeff. Connie, you're next with your closing.
Okay, hi. I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I'm running for LaPorte County Council. I am a business owner. I've had to pay all my bills. I've had to make sure that I don't spend outside of what I've got coming in. I've done it for multiple years. I've been very successful at it, and I believe that I will be an asset to the council because I will do the same thing that I do in my own private business. I can't buy more real estate if I don't have the income coming in. I believe the county should be treated the same way. I believe that we have to look at what's coming in now. You know that we've had a major fallback with what's going on in the world, and I really believe that we need people that have done this in their personal lives in order to get through the next couple of years. I'm Connie Grammarosa, and I really hope that you would consider voting for me on November 3rd or before. Thank you.
And thank you, Connie. All right, Mike Molnauer.
Yes. Again, I wish to thank the League of Women Voters for your time and patience, allowing myself and the other candidates to get our ideas and agenda out to the public. I'm Mike Molnauer, pledge to you, the voters, that I will continue to work hard for you with the same honesty, integrity, and transparency that I've always lived by. And remember, now, of course, there's early voting, so that's a great opportunity to get in early if possible, but November 3rd is the official election date, so please vote and vote for me. And remember, experience does matter. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Cunningham.
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody for their past support and ask for continued support. And I want to emphasize one thing, that when I ran the first time, I believe I stated that I believed in term limits. And after completing 8 years on the council, I stepped down and endorsed Randy Novak, who has served I think 3 terms as president. And I fulfilled that promise. It would have been very easy to just run again, but I think that promise kept is very important. Also, when we talk about bipartisan, I think it's quadpartisan. I think you have to make a commitment to libertarians and the independents and the Democrats and Republicans alike. Once you're elected, all parties are completely out the door. I promise to be transparent. I've been endorsed by the mayors of both cities, Tom Dermott and Dwayne Perry, and I've also been endorsed by former state senator Jim Arnold. So there's bipartisan support right there, and I think the libertarians would tell you that they would give me a lot of support as well. I want to thank Bonnie, you and Joanne, and the League of Women Voters as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Matt, you're closing up.
Right. Well, I'd like to thank the Women League of Voters for having this virtual meeting. It's great to get out and do with COVID and everything. It's a good way for us to at least talk to the taxpayers and the voters, and then hopefully they'll watch this and they'll get a little insight on us. I pride myself on transparency. When I was on the council, and I still sit on the PETA-BOA, I pride myself on being honest and open to everybody. So that's one of the things. And I just want to reflect on the courthouse project. It's one of the things I worry about. especially with our financial burdens that are coming with the COVID issues. We need to invest in economic development, and we just have to look at wants and needs. It comes down to if we want it or we need it, and that's what we're going back to. So I'm 100% invested in this county. I'm 100% invested in the people of this county. So I want to go back to work for you guys, and I want to do my best job possible. So vote for Bernanke in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you. I need to say, because it is definitely true, that after listening to all of the county candidates that turned out, and we only missed 3, but all that turned out, I am very impressed. I think the county's in good hands. I'm very pleased with those of you who are running. I have great respect for people who do that. I know it's not easy. I know it's demanding and at times expensive, but you are all doing a fine job. I've had a delightful time with the 3 groups that I've met with, and I'm delighted with the prospects for the future. Thanks again, and I'm sure I'll be seeing all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you
You're
so much.
quite welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, you're quite welcome, Connie.